Hey guys, Matt Size here, and welcome back to Fallstreak, episode number 3. Last episode, we met a whole new bunch of characters. I keep doing this. Load this one. Yes, please. So, last episode, we met Noletta, Lerona, Callie, and Tristan, and our dad, what was his name? I forget his name. We'll probably see it later. And the teacher, Narelle, who apparently doesn't even have a character. Now then, without further ado, let us begin the lecture on Succotrine's history. The entire class was gathered around what could only be described as an oversized board game. I saw this in one of the pictures. Mr. Narelle's always had an unorthodox style of teaching. Conventional teaching tends to lean towards fixed methods and rote memorization, but Mr. Narelle was fond of something he called divergent thinking. Don't get all divergent up in there now. We don't need fighters or anything like that. We don't need the Dauntless getting into this. We don't need Amity. As much as he tries to dress it up though, I'm pretty sure he just gets bored easily. This is a map of Succotrine? Yeah, it's a questionable map. Indeed, it's far from accurate in terms of scale, but this board game has been laid out to simulate Succotrine's basic layout. Overall, Succotrine can be divided into 5 areas. The What the? The Cryoterra Plains, the Urban Core, the Greater and Lower Palavelt Highlands, and the Muted Forest of the East. Well, at least there's one easy one to say. With a wave of his pointing stick, Mr. Narelle directs our attention to the blank boundary surrounding the hexes. One of Succotrine's most distinguishing features is the dense wall of unnavigatable mist that surrounds and separates it from the outside unknown lands. Mr. Narelle, where are the board game pieces supposed to be? You can think of the boxes as population concentration indicators and the cylinders as major industrial centers. The big piece in the center represents the heart of Succotrine's infrastructure, the capital city of Socotra. Aid, where do you live? Probably somewhere around here. Somewhere. As for the school, it's likely near here. Aid, maps are really amazing. What do you mean? They show the world like you're high in the sky, even though nobody's been in the sky before. You guys don't have planes? But if that's the case, Noletta just showed off a high level of thinking right there. Smart cookie. That's not true. I've been in the sky before, you know. Really? Wow. You shouldn't believe everything Aid says, Noletta. This is in the year 105, right? I was born in 104. How old are these characters? Loroni's. Oh, that is correct. The current board state reflects the state of Succotrine 15 years ago. when it was ruled by the old aristocracy. Okay, I apologize for that the moment. But that actually means that that Lorona is 16. Circuitrine was in the process of recovering from a period of famine and plague when the Masters' Revolution occurred. The Masters' Revolution was when people from unknown lands came, right? Yes, Circuitrine has been aware of the existence of the unknown lands from artifacts that wash up on I forget Northern Banks. However, 195 marks the first time that actual people came from the mist, from beyond the mist. Oh my gosh, I can make so many horror movie the mist puns here. Oh my gosh. In 195, a convoy of people describing themselves as refugees from a devastated land sailed down the river Viget and made contact with Circuitrine for the first time. Though the old aristocracy welcomed the refugees at first, they eventually began to suspect that the convoy would attempt a coup. Mustering all of Circuitrine's military might, the old aristocracy attempted to preemptively capture the refugees. However, they were soundly routed by the refugee convoy's elite combat unit, the Lost Children. In what came to be known as the Masters' Revolution, the old aristocracy was overthrown, and the leader of the Lost Children and refugee convoy, the Fallstreak Master, was installed as Circuitrine's sovereign ruler. Is it true? Is it true the Fallstreak Master was a girl? The Fallstreak Master was indeed female, though it would be more accurate to call her a woman more than a girl. I heard she was a genius sword master that took down a squad of Circuitrine's finest all by herself. There are rumors her unit annihilated entire armies back when she was in the unknown lands. Sounds like she's pretty good at bashing heads. But was the Fallstreak Master a good ruler? In regards to that, let's jump ahead to the year 200. Ooh, that... What? Oh, we're getting a very cool history lesson here. Mr. Norrell takes the opportunity to make adjustments to the board state before continuing. The 5 years that followed the Masters' Revolution are often considered a golden age in Circuitrine history. Drawing from the advanced technology, expertise, and knowledge the refugee convoy brought with them, Circuitrine underwent a period of rapid innovation and reform. Mortality rates plummeted as contemporary medical science made its debut, and birth rates skyrocketed as socio-economic living standards improved. However, that all came to a stop when the Fire of Collapse happened. A solemn silence took over the room as Mr. Norrell set about making major changes to the board. I love how the music just stops for this moment. I had been born shortly after the fire collapse, so I had no memories of the event. But there was no doubt it had been a dark time in Circuitrine's history. In August of 200, for reasons that are not known, the shroud of mist that usually only surrounds Succotrine's borders warped and covered the sky. Prismatic flames of unknown properties rained down from the mist, laying waste to major swaths of Succotrine's landscape. The area below Figet's southern banks suffered serious damage in particular, transforming into unrecognizable wasteland. Look at all the boxes that disappeared. I remember, if you got burnt by that rainbow fire, you had to get special treatment or else. The refugees of 195 had experienced a similar disaster in the unknown lands, so they were able to provide limited care, but there were too many victims to avoid a great loss of life. The Five Clubs did not mark the end of 200 though. In 195, the Valoran Master had taken a single Succotroni pupil following her rise to power. Shortly after the Five Clubs, that pupil challenged the Valoran Master to single combat, defeating her and claiming the title of Succotrine's sovereign ruler as his own. He continues to rule Succotrine to this day. We know him now as Lord Cecile Cotard. Hey, that's your daddy, right? Yep, that's my pots. Alright. Oh, that's awesome. He must have been crazy strong to defeat the Valoran Master. Lemmy. Man, there's so many characters that we don't get to see. I've always wondered what kind of relationship Papa had with his master. I just don't understand. For what reason did Papa feel compelled to usurp the Valoran Master? Unfortunately, there's not much insight I can offer on that matter. It is true, though, that Lord Cotard has largely carried on his master's legacy in terms of policy. That just made things more confusing. The pieces simply weren't lining up. Naturally, there were some that opposed Lord Cotard's succession, unconvinced that the inexperienced young Cotard could lead Succotrine in its weakened state. The remnants of the old aristocracy took the opportunity to attempt an uprising. However, having also inherited leadership of the lost children, Lord Cotard crushed the uprising, scattering his opposition and consolidating his rule. It is at last that we arrive at the current day of 2010. Succotrine's reconstruction had been a slow and steady process, but it has been helped along by several unexpected boons. Though I mentioned before how the Fire Collapse had mysterious properties, one particularly unusual effect is can be observed in what used to be in the southern wastelands. It is believed the ashes of the rainbow fire nourished the soil somehow, as the land has recovered at an alarming rate, blooming into what is now known as Everget's Garden. It's scary how pretty that place is. Many townspeople avoid it because they're afraid of the unfamiliar types of flowers that blossom there. In any case, that concludes my lecture. Owen and I will now take over for any questions that you may have. Passing the helm to Owen, Mr. Norau retreats to his desk for a breather. I've been curious about this for a while, but don't the refugees from the unknown lands have a name for the place they came from? That is a delicate topic. It is something of a taboo for the refugees of 195 to speak the name of their homeland. It is believed that for many of them, the name of their homeland is synonymous with atrocity. As such, they are often simply referred to as ULs. In that case, what about the Valorant Master? What was her name before she assumed her title? The Valorant Master is a big enigma even today. Her real name is likely something only members of the Lost Children know. I feel like we're going to be finding out her name. And the whole other land thing. I see. Perhaps I should ask Papa or Mr. Demalua sometime. That's all the questions I have for now. Surrounding the floor to the other students, I wander over to the classroom windows lost in thought. Socrates' closed world dilemma. There has only been one recorded incident of anyone successfully traversing the boundary of mist that circles Socrates' borders. The Florin Master. How did she lead the refugee convoy to Socrates? I couldn't help but feel it was a piece to the puzzle. A puzzle that I've yearned to solve for as long as I can remember. Not enough. It's still not enough. When I come back to myself, I find the class in the midst of lunch break. Wandering over to our usual group's island of desks, I met with a pleasant surprise. Erwina had pulled her desk over as well, bringing our count up to a total of 6. Erwina usually eats with her father at his insistence, but it seems a capricious teacher was taking a nap, having gobbled up his lunch during the Q&A session. I take my seat amidst an already continuing conversation. She's got her mouth full. Let's see if we can try and interpret this. Do you mind, Therese? Nah, I am not gonna try and interpret that. I see. Are you and Therese planning to do anything special for your 12th birthday? Newfound respect wells up inside me at Erwina's ability to comprehend Callier's incoherent gabbling. Callier wasn't very fond of being fed by other people. As such, it was not uncommon for unintelligible garbling to leave her mouth as she went about stuffing her lunch with her face. Even after the Second Great Food War, even after the Second Great Food War, may the casualties of that dark time rest in peace. We only ever gained the right to clean her face after a meal. While not as animated as Callier, watching Erwina eat was also an interesting experience. The manner in which she confirmed the position of her lunchbox, selected an article of food by its relative remaining proportion, and brought it levelly to her mouth was like clockwork. Damn. Erwina doesn't need ours. She can literally do anything without without being able to see. Seriously. She is a machine. Sure. Maybe we'll visit a Vigot's garden. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll visit a Vigot's garden. I got it. Jeez, Kalia. Don't I always tell you not to talk with your mouth full? A Vigot's garden, though, huh? That's a wonderful spot to go for your birthday. Could it be somehow I'm the abnormal one for having no clue what Callie is saying? No, I got it. So yeah. As she alternates between chastisement and casual conversation, Lorona picks out a tasty-looking morsel from Tristan's lunchbox. Since the five of us always share our lunch together, we have a habit of taking food from each other without restraint. It was something we did without even thinking about it. So it wasn't hard to understand why I guess Owenna froze in shock when her spoon suddenly encountered Tristan's fork scrounging around in that lunchbox. Eh? Ah. Huh? What are you doing, Triss? Don't just go poking around Owenna's lunch without her permission. Dude, how did I just read that? Ooh, a brutal kick from Kalia to some undefined location under the desk causes Triss to spray a mouthful of his lunch over an unfortunate Lorena. Oh! Yeah! What is happening? You'll have to forgive us, Owenna. We're all accustomed to sharing our food with each other. I guess Triss couldn't resist upon seeing how tasty your food looked. Ah, is that so? Owenna pauses for a second as she considers my words. Wait, what? Huh. Ah. In that case, allow me to sample what you've bought as well. A well-meaning smile rises to her lips as she pushes her lunchbox forward, signaling it's fun to take from her. At her invitation, the five of us, who had always been curious about the palate of rich people, eagerly dug in. Wow, it's so delicious. I didn't know you were such a good chef, Owenna. Hey, Triss, stop stuffing yourself and give me some of that. The bagouge? Some rant. I don't know what that word is. Gorgeous goodie. Naturally, Kelly didn't seem to have any issue accepting aid when it came to jacking the best part of a meal. Come on, Noletta, open up. You can't just eat nothing but pasta all day. Say ah. I poke at Noletta's mouth with a spoonful of Owenna's lunch until she reluctantly parts her lips. Getting this child to eat something other than pasta could often be quite the struggle. After ensuring that Noletta would be safe from malnutrition for another day, I have a sample of my own. So this is what Owenna ate. Though it was certainly tasty, something seemed a bit off about it. Just to clarify, I didn't make any of this. It gets a bit chaotic when I'm in the kitchen. As if recalling a silly memory, Owenna shakes her head. Of course, Father didn't make it either. With measured movements, Owenna probes through the lunchboxes we had placed in front of her for easy access. How do you fancy the dishes of the commoners, my lady? Go with the classic week. Refreshingly proletarian, if I must say. Why, I simply must have more. I really am quite fond of your lunches, though. How do I describe it? It feels like they were somehow made with warmth. I much prefer them to my own. Indeed, though the taste was on point, somehow Owenna's lunch didn't feel very filling. It was strange. I'm glad you like it. Feel free to eat again with us anytime. If you ever find your pop snoozing through lunch again, you're welcome to hang with the cool kids. Me and Trish are fine with it, I guess. How am I getting those lines? Me and Trish are fine with it, I guess. How am I getting those lines? Meanwhile, the rich twins try to play it cool as they rapidly cleaned Owenna's lunchbox of its contents. You have my gratitude. Let us rendezvous in the future again sometime. The simple act of sharing one's food with others makes it tastier after all. Can't wait until tomorrow though. Me and Trish spent all night yesterday studying up on bridges. There's no way we'll lose. Well, you can't really study on your own, can't you, Kalia? Actually, no. I shouldn't say that. That's not nice. Perhaps it was meant to be a declaration of resolve or something of the sort. But with how her face was innocuously smeared with food, she looked more like a bib-toting toddler than a bold competitor. Unable to stomach the yucky sight, Trish immediately butts in and wipes Scully down with a handkerchief. Jeez, Trish, can't you read the atmosphere? The atmosphere. I can read it. No matter, you are my favorite character. Forget about what I said before, Owenna. We're not cool kids at all. We're pretty lame, actually. With an inquiring tilt of her head, Owenna listens on as the rest of us break out into laughter. She probably didn't fully understand what was going on, but she smiles warmly at the good cheer we surround her with. Meals really are the best when shared in the company of others. I'm gonna share my meals more often if I want to make friends, apparently. Hasn't lunch break been over for a while now? Yes, but it appears that Mr. Narao has more pressing obligations to attend to. Our ever-dedicated school teacher was currently in the process of revising today's lesson plans with his facial. He fell asleep again? How many times must he be punished before he learns his lesson? With a grin that proves he's up to no good, Chris taps on Kylie's shoulder and gestures shadily at Mr. Narao's defenseless figure. Comprehending his intentions with ease, Kalia snickers impishly. Hey, Owenna, would you turn a blind eye if we decided to play a prank on your dad? Visual jokes! Come to get them! gaffes. I suppose it can't be helped. They just don't let things get too out of hand. Gaffes everywhere. Alright, good. So Owen is in. What should we do, though? Now, though. The Lorit's repertoire of pranks was quite expensive, but the usual antics wouldn't cut it if they wanted to do something Owen could appreciate. Scanning the room for ideas, my eyes catch on Noletta as she plays around with Susie, a younger classmate. The little un was teasing Noletta in a saccharine voice as she floated a balloon in and out of her reach. Oh, I do not. There are words in here that I'm never going to be able to pronounce unless I took the time to learn them. The scales have fallen from my eyes. We'll give him helium voice. With a grand gesture, I direct everyone's attention to the enlightening scene before us. What? In the highest form of approval, Tris spontaneously produces a white cat from somewhere and begins stroking it like an evil mastermind. Is he secretly Dr. Evil or like the villain from Inspector Gadget? Callie's face as well. I'm really feelining. I really feeline it. Cat jokes got me down. Firing off a clawful... No! A clawful pun. More jokes! Callie and Tris set off to procure the balloon. Father with helium voice. I cannot say the prospect is without appeal. You shouldn't do bad things to people who are sleeping. Remember the last time you tied my sleeves together when I was sleeping? That was so mean. The T-Rex Lorena is the best Lorena. T-Rex! Likely due to her overloaded schedule, Lorena had a habit of switching off whenever she was rendered even remotely cozy. Naturally, that put her on the receiving end of countless pranks on our part. But it's also really bad to fall asleep in class as a teacher. I don't know. I can't stop imagining Mr. Narao squeaking like a cute little mouse. With a moral compass compromised by internal conflict, there was nothing left to stand in the way of our schemes. After successfully persuading the owner, the Loritrans returned with Noletta and balloon in tow. Come on, stop it with the cat puns. I know there's only been 3, but seriously. Alright, so who will be the lucky soul carrying this out? Tris is good at being quiet. As if being shot through the heart, Tris slumps to the ground. Cat scampering from hand. Noletta, you are surprisingly smart for someone that's like got some weird thinking sometimes. This isn't gaff territory anymore. This is just plain harassment. Tris is KIA. Killed in action. I'm not suitable for the job because of reasons. You know, like arms. Sorry, I should stop making that joke. And Noletta and Lorena are Noletta and Lorena. Therefore, I nominate A to bear the torch. I'll seize the scepter of victory. Roused by Kelly's flawless reasoning, I branched the balloon with steeled resolve. What you need to do entails ensuring that if what you need to do entails ensuring my father stays asleep, I can also be of service. He has a particular habit of sleeping deeply when his head is scratched a certain way. With uncanny composure, Owner discloses shocking intel to us. Oh, he's like a kitty cat. Yeah, it's decided then. Let Operation Helium. Is that supposed to be a mix between feline and helium? Or father? With a grand sweeping motion, I announced the commencement of our mission. I'll be counting on you to disable the dragon while I sneak into his lair to loot the gold, Owner. Today is the first time that we've involved Owner in one of our missions. As such, no matter how fraught with peril this undertaking may be, failure cannot be allowed. Mission start. Ducking into the shadows of one of the first road desks, I stand by as Owner moves into position. With the wisdom of a weathered sage, she works her magic, chanting forbidden verses from a world beyond our world. From a world beyond our own. Meow, meow, Nyan. Those verses, of course, had a mild semblance to the meowing of a kitten, but I digress. The slumbering dragon's dangling glob of drool expands in size as the great sorcery takes effect. When Erwin signals in my general direction, I rapidly commence my infiltration. Posturing myself next to the throne, I look back to see that all our comrades are watching in bated breath. Everyone is counting on me. Reveling in the sensation of pressure, I carefully undo the knot, keeping the balloon shut before bringing it to my quarry's mouth. Doing this properly was a delicate balancing act. Too little and it would have no effect. Too much and a harmless prank would veer into dangerous territory. It's now or never. Gauging the rhythm of its inhalations, I wait for the perfect window to release the balloon's opening. The dragon's eyelids twitch in discomfort as its lungs abruptly fill with helium. Fall back, fall back. Pulling away, I whisper as loud as I dare to Owner. The two of us swiftly withdraw, take our seats as Mr. Norrell stirs and shakes his head in disorientation. Noticing the room full of diligently waiting healers, he opens his mouth to apologize. Oh dear, my apologies for keeping you all waiting. His squeaky voice issues a series of sneers from the kids with less restraint. Is there something on my face? Faced with his clueless expression, even the students with greater willpower are beginning to waver. What's going on? At the classroom full of children on the verge of cracking, Mr. Norrell could only look on in confusion. Oh, what did you guys do? Whatever you mean, Father. The students are merely amused by the squeaky persona you suddenly started acting out. The damnably funny breaks at Owen's feign of ignorance. Unable to hold it back anymore, the room floods with bouts of laughter. Now that you mention it, my voice does sound unusually high-pitched. Who did this? Mr. Norrell attempts to menace us in his harmless, mousy voice, from stomachers to fall out of the seat. The sight of everyone rolling around on the floor as they held their stomachs was quite the spectacle. Mr. Norao's eyes sweep over the classroom angrily for a while before eventually coming to a rest on a certain desk. Didn't you bring a balloon here for your birthday, Susie? I can't keep it up, man. Mr. Norao presses a palm to his face as he pieces it together. You mischievous little cretins. That's it. Outside right now. 10 laps around the school for all of you. Even the dispensing of a punishment only goes more laughter out of us because of its delivery in a shrill, innocuous voice. When I look over at Owen's seat, it pleases me to see that she is laughing her heart out along the side of the rest of us. Even after carrying out our penance, the only thing anyone had to say about the whole idea was worth it. Stoic and detached, that was the kind of air Owen always seemed to carry about her. I'm glad we were able to close the distance and see her smile wholeheartedly for once. Mission accomplished. After grumpily instructing us through the remainder of afternoon lessons, Mr. Norao dismisses the class for the day. With Tris leaving the bulk of his materials at school, we had a considerably lighter load to bear as we forayed into town. I know I said I'd tag along, but I can't really stick around for anything too lengthy. Due to her talent and unique aesthetic, there was a generous demand for Lorena's hand-woven products. Balancing school and work must have been surely taxing, but you never guessed it looking at her ditzy smile. Yep, we're just stopping by the Morella Bakery for a bite. I assure her as we make a final turn that places us. I reassure her as we make a final turn that places us squarely at our destination. Placing my hand on the door, I stop and exchange a glance with the Lorette twins. I wonder if they're thinking the same thing I am. With pluckish grins on their faces, they nod back at me. Newfound determination lights inside me as I push open the door to a familiar reception. Hello. Welcome to the Morale. The docile voice that greets us quickly transforms into squeaks of terror as three silhouettes dash forward with impeccable speed. Simple, spontaneous. Tickle attack! With the coordination of a seasoned wolf pack, Tris and I brutally closing on our target's flanks as Kalia circles behind for the takedown. Tickle, tickle. Tickle, tickle. Glomp, nom. Stop! Alouette can't take anymore. After biting into the spoils of a successful hunt to our heart's content, we finally relent to let Alouette catch her breath. Can't believe we're all on the same page. I can't believe we were all on the same page. The Lorette twins exchange a painful-looking forehead 5 to celebrate. Bonk! I feel like I need to recreate that just with editing. It's just like. Ow, not so hard, dummy. Not everyone is as blockheaded as you are. Trish dances out of the way as Kelly attempts to avenge their collective loss of brain cells with an angry knee. A joint maneuver from 3 directions at once to pincer the target. Double envelopment, classic tactical stratagem, topped off with a rear blindside to seal the deal. All executed perfectly with the minimum of communication. Woo! We really were breathing in sync. Yay? Though she doesn't really seem to get why, and fused. Noletta joins in cheering. You guys are scary. After regaining control of breathing, Alouette finally recovers from trouncing and manages to get back on her feet. You really surprised Alouette. What? Alouette Baxter, a young woman with a stilted style of speaking who worked here at the Morella Bakery. Though she was twice my age with change to spare, the impression she gave off could best be likened to a small woodland animal. Why is Alouette so irresistibly huggable? This calls for further investigation. Pardon? In the native silence, I press my cheek against her and start nuzzling her. Patchy, Patchy! Alouette responds with a similar nonsense noise as she caresses my head with a serene expression. Hey, me too, pet me too! Pwah! The rich twins push and shove as they struggle for the right to be spoiled by Alouette as well. Ah! Alouette only has 2 hands. While Alouette had 2 younger siblings she was used to pampering, 3 at once must have been beyond what she was accustomed to. Hey, you look like a sunbathing kitten, Alouette. There are ways of reaching out and connecting with others, even for those who are poor at expressing themselves through speech. It was though interacting with Alouette through such a method, touch, that we've come to understand how much of a sweetheart she truly is. Hey, can't you see you're imposing on Alouette? Seemingly interpreting Alouette's monopoly of our noggins as an infringement on her territory, Lorena tries to peeling us away. Man, I want to peel myself away from this game for now because I've been gone for nearly 50 minutes. Big sis Lorena, can dolt out wicked pats too. But though she does her best to emulate Alouette, it simply is not meant to be. Because you're not unique, Lorena. Alouette, she's a very unique character. It doesn't feel half bad when you brush my hair, but you suck at giving out head pats, Lorena. With a solemn shake of his head, Triss extends a disapproving thumbs down. I don't get it. How hard could it be? Lorena, my friend, the art of head pats is a path that can only be pursued when one has cleared their mind and heart. Isn't your anxiety and jealousy bleeding into your movements? Unable to be sated by Lorena's ham-fisted malarkey, we abandon her in favour of Alouette's seamless strokes. No, where did I go wrong? When did I stray from the light? There was no exaggeration to say Alouette was a master of this haptic form of communication. way she gradually adjusted pressure from delicate to firm to firm. From delicate to form to firm. Migrated at perfect intervals from spot to spot and mixed it up between her nails, finger pads, and palms. And palm was simply superb. But even more important than her peerless form and technique was the calming aura and pure intent her movements projected. Whenever she touches you, it feels like your heart connects with hers for the briefest of moments. Noletta too. Alouette will pat Noletta too. Noticing Noletta sitting off by herself, Alouette tries reaching out to her. Wait. Okay. Noletta. However, Noletta doesn't budge an inch. Without a word, she stares on silently at Alouette's outstretched arm. Unsure how to interpret Noletta's response, Alouette tiptoes into range and bashfully runs her fingertips through Noletta's snow-white tresses. Meep meow. Meep mew. Noletta has such soft, poofy hair. Where? That's no good, Noletta. You can't get head pats unless you make gibberish sounds too. Yeah. You sound like a constipated cat. Why are we getting fixated on cat stuff? Why? Nah. You have to put your heart into it, Noletta. However, Noletta steps back from Alouette in a show of unmistakable rejection. Eh? Though she seems confused and distressed, Alouette's attention is quickly diverted by the needy Lorituans. What's the matter, Noletta? Sidling up to her, I whisper to her in a hushed voice. Alouette smells. Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure she knows how to bathe on her own, unlike a certain someone at first. My banter doesn't seem to lighten the mood though. She smells like mist. What? She smells like mist? It's different, but also the same. Huh? Is that so? I don't know what you mean by that, but she's a good-hearted person. Always has a smile on her face. Smiling all the time. It's the same. The same as never smiling. But A's right. Alouette's not fake. Fake. What meaning did that word hold to Noletta? Regardless, it didn't seem like she disliked or distrusted Alouette. I'm not sure I get it then. But Noletta really shakes her head. I don't know. There are many questions I want to ask, but I decided to stop pressing Noletta for now. We're not trying to force you to do anything you're uncomfortable with. I'll make it up to you later with those special Aid brand behind the ear rubs you like, okay? Okay, and with that, I feel like I should end the episode here. On the photo of my favourite character. Links to my Twitter page and my YouTube page will be down below, along with a link to Amino. It works better on phone. It's literally the slogan I've come up with for it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out, and leave a like if you love visual novel games. Mad Scientist, out.